line of what we all need to be instilling in young people and each other. We need to read more. I mean, it's as simple as just saying that. You know, pick up a book and read it. Our culture has gotten so caught up in, you know, fast, quick, I want a TV commercial, I want this and that, and we've forgotten about the joys of actually picking up a book and taking some time to think and read. Commerce Bank is very supportive of that, and I thought it was quite fitting because we have a program, a summer reading program, which I just wanted to give you all an idea of. The summer reading program is a program that we started about 8 years ago as well to inspire young people to read books. And we basically take kids in the summer months and we give them the opportunity to earn money for actually reading. So in the honor system, they read books, they fill out this form, they come into the bank, open up a bank account, and we give them $1 for every book that they read. So it's a way that they can sort of earn and move and be inspired to do the right thing. Now, like I said, I'm going to be very brief. I want to actually set the stage up for my buddy. I have worked with Max Rodriguez for several years now in various capacities before I came to the bank. And I'm really proud to welcome the Harlem Book Fair to Commerce Bank, not only as a customer, but really as a friend of the bank. We're really supportive of Max and your vision for what the book fair is and what it can become. So without further ado, the founder of the Harlem Book Fair, Max Rodriguez.
Thank you, Vincent, both for your support and your friendship. And I want to acknowledge those of you who are here just for being the stand that you are around literature and literacy, but more important, about who we are as a community. What the Harlem Book Fair allows us to do is to create a platform where we can look at ourselves, we can talk about our point of view, we can play with each other around our sense of our sensibilities, who we are and what we see for ourselves. That's what the book fair is. What it looks like is an outdoor book party. That's the fun of it. That's the intent. But beneath it all, it's a very public statement about who we really are, who we know ourselves to be, and who we are, what we aspire to for ourselves and our families. That's what the book fair is. And that call has resonated not only in Harlem. Last year, according to C-SPAN, we had over 50,000 people. But throughout the nation, we're now in 8 cities. Next year, we're adding Chicago, Toronto. Next month, we're adding Hartford, Connecticut. Next year, we're adding Oakland. So it's not the Harlem Book Fair. It's the conversation who we are as a community, how we see ourselves. Now, this cannot happen without the people who support the book fair, like yourselves, and those of us in the office on the ground who make it happen. I want to acknowledge Nancy Flowers, Harlem Book Fair advisor. I'd like Rashima to come up. Rashima, just come over. Rashima Brightly. She handles the lines for us, and she actually produces a lot of the event. Let's see. The idea, we're all here because of Cornelius Ricks. So my idea of the book fair is, okay, let's turn the pages. Cornelius' idea of the book fair is, let's turn lots of pages, okay? So I want to acknowledge Cornelius for the work that he's done in bringing this event together and really sort of upping the profile of the book fair from a book fair to a huge celebration of community. Who did I miss? And I know that I have. I want to acknowledge Heather Covington, also a Harlem Book Fair advisor. These are the people who sort of keep me in the steady when I can't do this anymore. Okay? No. So, all right, so erase. Okay? This is not your time, Heather. Okay. No, Heather, okay.
He's the reason why I'm here, and he made it possible for me to become an author. So I am giving all praise and glory to God. Thank you, Max Rodriguez, for your help. Thank you.
We're going to take a moment later to tell you about what you'll find at the book fair. We have these palm cards that we've printed, I have one request of you, and that is that you become emissaries of the book fair, become ambassadors of the book fair. They'll be available. Please take a bunch, drop them in your schools, your neighborhoods, your bodegas. Let everyone know our game this year is to exceed the 50,000 that we hit last year. It's a huge conversation. It's a conversation that can't be ignored. I want you all to create that conversation and know that the Harlem Book Fair belongs to you. Okay? I'd like to introduce my support in the Harlem Book Fair. Come on over. Assemblyman Keith Wright. Again, whenever I've wavered, whenever I've come to him with a story, he's always dismissing. That's nothing. We got that. We'll take care of it. It's done. The book fair does not stand without Assemblyman Keith Wright. Thanks, brother.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Max for that kind introduction. I will be very brief because we have a lot of famous people who want to speak. But let me just say this. The book fair is 8 years old. And I don't need to tell a lot of you in here, probably the hardest thing to do is to rear children, especially black children. And that's what I'm trying to do as a parent. Our book fair had some stumbling blocks in the embryonic years. Now we're 8 years old, we're starting to grow and grow and grow. I remember when the book fair was on 136th Street, but now we've taken up 4 blocks along 135th Street. Now, you know, it's just very simple. First of all, I was very lucky. As the son of probably one of Harlem's foremost intellectuals, if you will. I was taught. My father's name was Bruce Wright, who actually is an author, Black Robes, White Justice, a few other books anyway. And Turn 'em Loose, Bruce. Well, sometimes my wife calls me Hold 'em Tight Wright, but anyway, not too often lately, as a matter. But anyway, but I was taught the value of reading. I was surrounded by folks like Langston Hughes and just many other folks that like to write. So of course I had to read, but not everyone is that lucky. Not everyone is that lucky, so it's up to us to pass on the value of reading and literacy. Let me just give you one thing. When you have more black men in jail and in prison than are going to college, it's up to us to promote the value of literacy. It's up to us to promote the value of literacy. Now, when you think about it, when you have a quarter, 24%, a quarter of black folks who are below the literacy rate in this country, those folks that do surpass the literacy rate, I mean, there's only, literacy transfers into one thing, and that's a good paying job. Period, end. It's up to us to promote it. We're in our 8th year. Let's make sure it lasts at least another 28 years. And that's what we will do, and we will pass on that legacy to our children. Thank you so much.
I want to take a moment just to acknowledge one more person, my program director, Gail Chauban, right here. Again, these are the people that make the book fair happen. Thank you. Oh. The woman. Okay.
We have the queen of all media here. And you may say, oh, queen of all media, blah, 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 blah. But this woman is on her 2nd book. Okay, so she doesn't just talk. Is it your 3rd? Oh, I'm sorry, Wendy. Wendy's my friend. Well, now she's mad at me. I'm sorry. No, she's not mad at me, but she's going to get me in the ladies' room tomorrow. Okay, Wendy, please. Everybody, Wendy Williams, the queen of all media. Really, Wendy Williams.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. You know, oops.
The mic has a mind of its own.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Wright just said he read my first book, but you know that actually might be my most important because it's the one who establishes as my autobiography who I am and a little bit about why I say and do some of the things that I do. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you very much for supporting my experience. I've been a participant in the Harlem Book Fair before, and I was amazed at the amount of people. Yes, it was very hot. It was the middle of the summer, but the organization, you had Bookspan there. I participated in a panel that I was able to see time and time again on Bookspan. There were wonderful authors that I've read their work, as well as I put it on my summer reading and got their books. Readers were meeting their authors, and authors meeting their public. Book signings, to me, are really, really something special, and I'm looking forward to Saturday, July 22nd. My time, by the way, I'll be there between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. From 11 to 12, I will be signing with my label, Harlem Moon, which is a subsidiary of Simon Schuster, of Random House. And I've been with Simon Schuster before. And then from 12 to 1, I will be supporting a woman in an organization that has supported me since I've been a writer, and that's Carol Mackey and Black Expression Book Club. So I will be at that booth from 12 to 1. This is my third book, is out right now. It's called Drama is Her Middle Name. It's about a radio personality from New York who happens to work at 34th and Park. Past that, the similarities split. Ritz is in her mid-30s. She's single. She's in New York by way of Richmond, Virginia. She was raised by her aunt. Her parents are nowhere around. She was in sore need of a makeover. She got it at the hands of a suggestion from the producer of her radio show. Along with the makeover, she needed the saucy story that would make her bosses at the radio station give her the shift she wanted. She did not want to do nights at her radio station, WHOT. She wanted to do afternoons. Back in college, Ritz's roommate was this woman who went on to be the Diane Sawyer of her time. Ritz is casually reading the story on the air and decides to tell all the college tales. And for those of you who attended college, or just during those years in your life, you know we all have our tales. The tales ended up getting this Diane Sawyer character fired. Ritz got her afternoon shift. When the book opens up, Ritz is shot, presumably dead, on a New York City sidewalk. Her fur coat is in the blood. Her Aston Martin is waiting at the garage. Her attitude is not, oh my gosh, please let me live, but who did this to me? The rest of the book backtracks the setup of who the characters are in Ritz's life, why they would want to shoot. She's got a big mouth. She's a big mouth, gossipy. Who did it? Is it the preacher from Harlem who she outs? Is it her homosexual producer who wants to be her? Anyway, Drama is Her Middle Name, written by me, Wendy Williams, with my trusty writing partner, the Pulitzer Prize winning Karen Hunter, once again. So I will be participating this year with my third book, which starts my novel series. By the way, the follow-up to Drama is called Is the Bitch Dead? Look, the B word I thought was too much for the book world, but my editor insisted that we go with that title, and that will be out in the winter of 2006. So I will be signing and greeting at the Harlem Book Fair, and later on that night, I will be luxuriating and appreciating at my Dons and Divas Summer Sexy Soiree. Listen to my radio show for details. My George Vassell Champagne family will be flying in from France, visiting the States for only the second time in their lives. The first time was to meet and do champagne business as well. For those of you who listen to the show, you know I'm not just a spokesperson, but I am a champagne company owner. the new spokesperson for Alizé, a new writer for Life and Style magazine, an author, a mother, a wife, a syndicated radio personality, and a ton of other stuff, because it's only 15 minutes in entertainment and then poof, it's gone. And I'll be damned if I don't seize every opportunity I can. So again, I thank you for supporting the Wendy Williams Experience. I look forward to seeing you at the Harlem Book Fair. Thank you so much, Max. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, everybody who helps to make that book fair possible, because it's a real beautiful thing. Thank you.
Yeah. Another acknowledgement, please. Another Harlem Book Fair advisor from Atria Books, Simon & Schuster, Malaika Adero. Thank you, Malaika.
Yeah, I know. Since I do the news on BLS, and I've done the news for many years in this town, I came with a list because I thought it was very important to educate people, even us. Just to give you an idea, Britton Hammond was the first black American writer of prose in 1760. We need to know these numbers because we're not just writing now. We didn't just start writing and reading when Stella got her groove back. The first slave narrative written by a black American, 1798. Robert Benjamin Lewis published a history of black people in 1836. The Journal of Negro History, founded in 1916 by Carter G. Woodson. Susan Paul wrote the memoir of James Jackson in 1835. These are all 1700s, 1800s, where we were reading and we were writing. It is important to know. A black American named William Saunders Scarborough published a Greek language book, a Greek language textbook in 1881. He was president of Wilberforce University. The first black novelist, William Wells Brown, 1853. And we can skip all the way down to Frank Yerby, a black man who wrote The Foxes of Harrow, which was made into a Hollywood movie. It was about all white people, so it was an all-white movie, and it was written by a black man, Frank Yerby, in 1949. So I wanted to give you some of those numbers. I don't want to say anything else. I want to let everybody else, all these other distinguished people, speak. But I wanted you to know that we just didn't start writing, we didn't start reading, which means we have a tradition, and that means we have to get people to the Harlem Book Fair. Thank you very much.
That was great, actually. Ann came with a real history lesson. You know why? Because she reads, and she read and found that information for us, which I thought was really important. We have one other person who's going to make some comments right now, if I can get this microphone to act properly. So the last person that I'm pleased to introduce is a distinguished guest of ours. If I get everybody's attention again, please. We're going to wait till this photo line is finished, and then we're actually going to bring our attention back to the last speaker, and then we're going to go into some wonderful entertainment for everybody. Wendy always causes such a stir. Man, I want to be Wendy Williams. If we could get this back in order a little bit, I got two more speakers, and then we'll be able to break. We can finish up eating this great food we've got from Home Bay, which is right down the street. Sherrod Barnes, I want to send a shout out to her. She did a really good job preparing this food, and there's plenty of it. So if I can ask Minister Kevin to come back. If I could get Mr. Kevin to come.
Beginning all things in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. They have me on the program as representing KISS FM, but that's inaccurate. First, I'm the New York representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I am the minister of Muhammad Mosque number 7 in Harlem. I serve as the host of the Power Hour with Minister Kevin on Power 105.1, but I'm not here representing them because I don't work for them. I just conduct an issues and community affairs program format. I want to thank Mr. Max Rodriguez, the founder of the Harlem Book Fair, and all of his staff. He was on my program on last Sunday, and it was a very honorable program to be on together. To Sister Ann Tripp and to Wendy Williams and to all that are here. This is a very historic moment for us, and I want to thank my brother Cornelius for putting all of this together. Muhammad Mosque number 7, in his 8th year of the Harlem Book Fair, will be personally involved through and through. Each year we have had tables at the Harlem Book Fair presenting books and authors. I'm not an author yet myself, but we're writing one, and soon we will present that. But this year, we are participating to represent one of the best written books ever that is still on everyone's bestsellers list in reading, which is Message to the Black Man in America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we will be giving a presentation from the main stage between 1 and 4 on Message to the Black Man Revisited. There's still a message that black men need today, that black women need today, and as you know, I represent Minister Farrakhan, who is the convener and visionary of the Million Man March, the Million Family March, and the Millions More Movement. And so we will represent those ideals. But I'll leave you with this note. Minister Malcolm X said, if you want to hide something from a black person, all you have to do is put it in a book. When he made that statement on behalf of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as he ministered for him, that statement was made to challenge us, not for us to take our head like an ostrich and put it in the sand and never read. Because we learned the first thing that we should do as Muslims is Iqra, read. Read in the name of thy Lord, who created man and woman from a clot and taught man and woman what they knew not. So all of us must read. Reading, and the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left a picture with him posing, reading a book. Because books are the wings of life. If you want to lift yourself above racism, white supremacy, and superiority of those who portray that, if you want to lift yourselves above black inferiority, if you want to lift yourselves against the helplessness in the educational facility system, you must read. Reading produces educational excellence. Reading the right material produces moral excellence. And reading enlightens the mind and produces darkness in a world where there's gross darkness. And so we want all of us to be a part of the book fair, not just to hear our presentation, but to be out there with the countless numbers of black authors who need your help, who need your support, who need you to purchase their books, to read their books, to recommend their books, and for you to be inspired to go into reading and writing and literacy yourself. So we look forward to seeing you on that Saturday, July the 22nd, between 1 and 4 p.m. on the main stage. Message to the Black Man Revisited in America. It has not went anywhere, and the message has not went anywhere. And I leave this message with you. Each of us that leave here tonight, leave here with a greater respect for the female. For Minister Farrakhan teaches me in his book, A Torchlight for America, and that book will be there as well, that the female is the key to our kingdom. And we must come and respect the woman, honor her, and then she will respect and honor the black man. Then the community can be made better, and our children can be reared up and brought up in a world that will make them better. And then Commerce Bank won't have to pay them $1. They will come to the bank and deposit hundreds of dollars in what they've gained from reading. May God continue to bless you. Thank you. Peace be unto you.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. That was actually well said. One last, who's ready for some music and some socializing now? I got one person up here who's going to say something very brief. This is Rendell Solomon. He is the genius behind Timeless Talent Group, and he's going to introduce our musical artists for the evening.
How's everyone doing tonight? All right, a little bit louder, please. All right, thank you. Again, it's been said, my name is Rendell Solomon. I'm founding partner of the Timeless Talent Group, an artist management, event production, and arts-based education firm. And when I met with Max and Cornelius about a month ago, it was a no-brainer for us to get involved with this event. The type of music that our artists create is educational in nature and is socially conscious. The first artist I'd like to introduce, his name is Anthony Morales. He's from the Bronx, originally from Puerto Rico. 25-year-old spoken word artist, writer, lecturer, and he's an educator himself. He teaches. And our second artist, his name is Akil Dasan. He is originally from Philadelphia, currently resides in Harlem. You may recognize him from Missy Elliott's reality show, Road to Stardom. And he's a guitar player, musician, beatboxer, spoken word artist, hip-hop, soul, you name it, he does it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce first Anthony Morales. He'll be doing a couple pieces for you this evening.
Very quickly, we forgot one of our sponsors, TVone. Cornelius Rich is going to say something very quickly about TVone, which is one of the sponsors of the evening. Come on up.
Hey, it's a pleasure for everyone to be here. I'm really enjoying myself. It's a beautiful crowd. One of the things that we did here at the book fair was bring in the Nation of Islam, which I thought was very important, with the Nation of Islam being March number 7 with Mr. Kevin be a part of the event itself with so many great books that was printed by the nation itself. I think that every black man and every black woman in this country should read The Message to the Black Man. I always joke with people and tell people all the time, if you haven't read The Message to the Black Man, you have not read a book yet. That book there covers all the books that was printed by the Nation of Islam in one book. I love the book itself. I think everybody needs to read that book. I remember years ago when Mr. Farrakhan said that a kid within the Nation of Islam should read one book a week, which is very, very important. I think reading is something primary as far as like dealing with who you are. When I was growing up as a kid, I was one of the first black kids on Sesame Street. I was Ricky Ricks on Sesame Street, which I was on Sesame Street for 2 years. And my whole purpose in life was reading. My mother was a doctor. I grew up in private schools. It's supposed to be dealing with reading itself. And one of the things that I'm doing today is working throughout Harlem as a marketing person, dealing with one of the things we do is a program called TVone, Channel 90 Time Warner, that we have. And also we do a poster sign on all the buses where I see the subway station that I see black people, TVone, living together, working together, studying together. That's what Kathy Hughes wanted. That's the image that she wanted. It's what they're doing with TVone. We felt like BET was a station that was a bunch of, we say, Negroes on TV tap dancing and basically joking about themselves. TVone was created to be a TV station that was bringing back literacy within the country as well as education as far as like who we are and putting a better image on TV than we have been listening to before or watching before. So it's a pleasure for you to be here. It's an honor for you to be here. I love everyone. God bless you. And Assalamu alaikum.
Without further ado, our music acts. Everybody grab food. It's around on this side and drinks on the other side to my right.
What's happening? What's going on? Yo, this is the loudest commerce bank I've ever seen in my life.